up, CT? We're here for episode 98. I'm here with Kaeli Roselle. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
So can you give the listeners a little introduction where they can find your music and your social media?
Yes, for those who don't know me, I go by the name of Kaeli Roselle, born and raised in Bridgeport, Connecticut. You can find my music on every platform. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, Amazon, Google Play, everywhere that they have music. If you just put Kaeli Roselle in the search, you'll be sure to hear my tunes.
Hey, so let's dive into this life before music and early years. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, on the north end of Bridgeport.
And what was it like growing up there?
You know, I kind of got the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? It was an urban area. You know, we had Trumbull Gardens around the corner, and then I was more so close to Reservoir and Soundview Avenue. It was very nice. You know, my childhood was lovely over there.
And what was like the music scene growing up? Were you witnessing any local artists bubbling?
Growing up, local artists, I kind of wasn't really into any local artists. I more so grew up within the church. You know, I used to sing in the choir. I used to go to church with my grandmother all the time. And then I started singing in the choir. And then as I got a little bit older, I started directing the choir. And, you know, I had pretty much of a church upbringing. And then as I got older, when I turned 2021 is when I started, you know, getting a feel for what was outside in the streets, for lack of better words, you know, the local artists from the North End, the East End, New York City, outside of Connecticut. That's when I kind of started branching out, you know, into my own artistry.
And how would you say that church backing has helped you develop into an artist?
It's definitely kept me very humble. You know, I'm very grateful. I owe everything to God. I'm very spiritual. I'm very religious. I feel like when you start out in the church, you kind of you appreciate singing more for the art part of everything. You know what I mean? There's not much so ego. It's more like singing from your heart and from your soul and wanting to heal people in more of an emotional sense than to say, you know, I'm a diva, kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then you can bring that over into this industry, and you know, that's really something that I'm not saying a lot of people don't have, but when you have it, you really shine in this industry.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to dive into those SoundCloud songs that we were talking about. You had a bunch of remixes back in the day, and it was hosted by a DJ, correct? So let's dive in on a couple of those tracks. Which ones were your favorites?
Are you talking about my mixtape Crowned from 2017?
Yep.
Hosted by DJ Livewire. Shout out to Shadyville DJ. Shout out DJ Livewire. I love y'all. One of my favorites was the Fetty Wap one. Remember?
Oh, I loved that one. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hello. That one. Yeah. That one was one of my favorite ones. And then I had one, I did Commas featuring CT artist Sholi. That one was a favorite. That one was a favorite. We actually ended up opening up for Future.
No shit.
That year, or was it the year after?
Wow.
Yeah, we both,
Shout out Sholi. He's been fucking killing it.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. He's representing Connecticut hard.
Hardcore.
Proud of him. Yeah.
So how long have you known him prior to that track?
You know, I grew up knowing him around, you know, like he was from Trumbull Ave. He was older, you know, a little bit older than me. But we used to work together when I was younger, like when I first started singing in music, him and Martell and Tease, Ram and Tease. They used to have they used to produce records. So we kind of all like grew up together, all of us.
That's awesome. And just to see you
Hmm.
guys blossoming in your own lanes, it's just so cool to see.
Yeah.
Awesome. So where do you go to record most often? Do you have one specific spot?
Yes, I do. New Haven Vibe Studio. It's in New Haven, Connecticut. Shout out Smokey. He's also my head engineer. That's my home studio. Shout out to my Rose gang. They make all
Hey,
things possible for me. I have an incredible team. It's very enlightening to have them around. I was more so as an artist growing up and learning the game by myself. I managed myself. I had my best friends play my teammates, and whatever position they had to play, they were willing to play for me. And I'm very grateful for my friends. I love them. I have the same friends from when I was like 5 or 6 years old. So that
yeah,
means a lot to me. That means a lot. I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, I record at New Haven Vibe Studio. Very professional, clean sound. Yeah, they're highly recommended. One of the best studios in Connecticut.
love to hear.
Period.
Period. No, that's
Period.
great. And were you able to record over there during the quarantine, or did they have to shut down?
um, you know, interesting story about that. Yeah, quarantine did a number on my team. We all were going through a lot. He did have to shut the studio down. And just for, I think, maybe a couple of months, I ended up going and recording somewhere else in West Haven at Hi-Fi Studios. Shout out to the Hi-Fi team. And,
Hey,
Brandon and Victor, they really looked out for me for a couple of weeks when I needed to record and just like get some ideas out and stuff. But that was only for like a couple of weeks. But yeah, then, we came back like nothing. you know,
yeah,
COVID did a number on a lot of people. So it was a very tough time for me right at the peak of my career where I felt like, you know what, I'm finally getting my team together. We're finally about to release something, and then everything just stopped. So just imagine how I felt when, I'm like, damn, I'm almost there, but dang, it's just
but now
like
the world
taken away from
stopped.
me. Literally, world stopped.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking that, and there was a Jack Harlow line, and he was like, he basically said, once there's a vaccine, I'm gonna run the globe. And it's kind of crazy to think that, like, we're all sitting here. It's like before the gun is sound off in the race, and we're all just like antsy, ready to go, but no one can really go yet.
Right.
Some people obviously are going, and they're doing events because people up in higher places can get the tests really quickly and go places. But all of us were kind of
Right.
waiting, like, we can't host events, maybe Zoom events, but is it really the
Right.
same? Are you going to have the same turnout? Are people going to go back and listen to your project after, just like they would if they had a real live performance?
Right. Right.
I think that plays a really big part. So you performed for Future, like you said. So what are some of your favorite performances that you've done over the years?
Hmm. One of my favorite performances definitely was Future. That was a big performance for me. Um, there was thousands of people there. Shout out to Lou McLean and Best H. They, gave me the platform. They always looked out for me. But I've always been like a hard worker. You know what I mean? So that always plays a part in the artist you get to open for. I also want to shout out Hot 93.7 and DJ Michi and DJ Buck and all the DJs there.
Yeah.
They gave me my first chance to open up for my first major artist, which was Miguel at Toad's Place. That
Mm.
was fun. I also opened up for Remy Ma and Waterbury. I think I still have footage from that. I opened up for Fabulous 2 times. I opened up for Dipset, Day 26. Um,
Wow.
there's a lot. I sometimes forget my resume. I'm opening up for artists because there was a
Yeah.
lot. But those are like a lot of the ones that I can remember that were really fun. And I still have footage from those shows. So
That's great. Do you still get butterflies when you go up on stage?
I do. But one thing that has helped me with that is, you know, once my show track starts, once the music starts, that's it. That's when the
Yep.
whole world is looking at Kaeli. So it'll make or break me. It's like, okay, she's been performing for years. She's been doing this for years. Once I hear my intro, I don't see anything else.
That's
So
great.
whether I'm nervous or not, it just stops.
I think that's a huge thing that artists, like newer artists, don't even think about when they start getting into the game is that, hey, your performance is going to be huge for your fandom once you like actually get to the stage of performing. If you can't perform and you're hiding away and just releasing SoundCloud songs, you're not going to build as much. When you're making like impressions on multiple people,
Right.
there's nothing like it.
I also think, for new artists, they can't just, they should just come in and hit the ground running. However, you have to give them that chance to grow. Some of them don't even have a studio presence. I never really had a studio presence. I always had a major stage presence. And once I sang live, it was incredible. But in the studio, I kind of had to try to figure out, my lane. Like, it's
Yeah,
hard
let's
sometimes
dive
because,
in on that because it really is hard. And I think a lot of people would benefit from hearing from what you did.
yeah. So I put out a lot of remixes. I would just play with other people's music, for lack of better words. Um, um, Whether it was a Beyonce record or whether it was Jay-Z or Biggie, I would kind of sing or like sing rap to their instrumentals and play around with them and record that in the studio before actually getting real production from real producers. Because sometimes people will just love you for the person that you are, and then they see you perform, and they're like, oh, I got something for you. But if you don't have a studio presence, how are you ever going to practice that? So you can't
Exactly.
kind of expect new artists to just come in and just, have a hit record. Some get lucky, some do that, you know what I mean? But it's good to practice with, experiment, do remixes, do features, just book studio time just to see, how you feel when you're in the studio, because you should be at one with yourself, because you're actually giving yourself to somebody in a recording. So
100%.
yeah, it's not easy.
I didn't know it was a thing until the first time I got behind a mic. And then I realized that I choked up nearly like I did not do it like how I did it in my room. And I was like, yo, I swear I did it better. I swear. And like, no, it's okay. It's just your studio presence. And I was like, what?
Right.
And you don't realize that as an early artist, but that is just like the performing, like you said, it's a whole different section of your artist's I don't need repertoire or whatever word you would like to choose.
Right.
How do you build melodies when you're writing songs, and how do you even write?
So a lot of my music is based off of real life experiences, based off of situations that I've been through, my hurt, my pain, my happiness, my joy, my anger. Um, that's how I come up with my lyrics, most of them anyways. And also, as far as the melody goes, I just go based off of feel. I also have somebody who does my vocal arrangements on my team. His name is Bryce. And he helps me a lot with like the backgrounds. He helps me basically take my emotion and make it an actual record, an actual clean sounding record, but it still feels the same. It still feels, you get that raw feel, that
Hmm.
I felt when I wrote it. You know what I mean? So I have to give that emotion, but then, my team, they put it all together. And shout out again to the Rose Gang. I already shouted out our head engineer, which is Smokey. He owns New Haven Vibe Studio. And then Bryce, who does vocal arrangements. We have Dan, who is a producer and an engineer as well. He
Yep.
actually mixed and mastered the EP Rose. And that was his first time doing that, which is
Oh, that's
great.
great.
And then we have another producer. He goes by the name of Isaiah.
Yep.
which is London, and then Dan goes by HD. And
That's
then we
so
have
great.
Jasmine. I don't know if you know her, but she's killing the game with her pictures and her videography right now.
You got to send me all their names. I'm gonna follow them all in the breakthrough because
Yes,
I always love
please. They
seeing
are
creatives.
incredible.
So when did you
Yes.
guys create Rose Gang?
So Rose Gang was something that I came up with for my fans
Yep.
at first. You know, my name is Kaeli Roselle, and you know, a lot of people, they always put the rose emoji, and I kind of just came up with, like, it used to just be like, I didn't want to call them my fans because I really hate the word fans. Like, I like
Yeah.
more so supporters, because it's like, if it wasn't for them, there would really be no me, because, you know, I make music for myself, of course, but then I make it for these people that are going through, or for women who are afraid to say the things that I say. So they keep me going. You know, they're my major target market. And when I started calling them Rose Gang one morning, I was just like, well, my team should be the #1 Rose Gang. And then I make my fans feel like they're a part of my gang.
Mm.
So it's not more so like Rose Gang fans, but they're my gang, you know, gang.
I
But
love that.
yeah, I just like everybody to feel a part of something. Like, I want everybody to feel like they're a part of everything that I create. That way they get that feel.
That will create fandom for a decade, more than a decade,
Yeah.
because when a fan feels like, and I always look at it from the artist perspective, but I try to sit back and I view it from like the fan's perspective, and it really
Mm-hmm.
makes a difference when you go through and you feel like you're a part of the journey, because it is a journey. The entire musical process is a journey, from the first project or
Right.
first song that you release to the last one at retirement. It like they want
Right.
to see where you end, and it's just like, if you can be a part of that journey, and if you can get people to be a part of that journey forever, there it's going to be in their heart.
Right.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's really a
I
cool way
love
to
my
think
fans.
about it. Yeah, I like the fact that you have your team and the fans both as Rose Gang. That is really unique, and I think it will really, like you said, make the fans feel kind of a little bit more important. And that's what you
Right.
want to do as the artist. With
Right.
with artistry, it's like this cyclical feeling of empowerment. And you release music to empower the fans, and they show gratitude, which empowers you to make more music. So it's just like
Right.
reusable energy. As soon as you get, as
Right.
soon as that one friend DMs you, yo, bro, this is actually fire, or hey, I actually like that song. You sounded great on that hook. Like, you're like, all right, I'm in the
Yeah.
stew, and that's
That's
how it
it.
just goes.
Right. We're in the stew.
Hmm.
We got to keep the records coming. We got to.
So how do your like childhood friends like your like new project? Are they like excited? I bet they're so hyped to see just like the growth over the years.
I mean, at the private listening event that I held, that was more so for my team,
Hmm.
my childhood friends, my family, my industry connects, for the radio stations, everybody who's been a part of blooming Rose. You get what I'm saying? Because Rose is basically just me blooming into the flower. You know what I mean? And as a woman, and they've they all watched me grow. They've watched me fail. They've watched me play multiple parts in my own career, which was tough for me, because as an artist, you just want to be the artist. You know, I just want to write and I just want to sing.
Hmm.
I just want to do that. I just want to focus on being Kaeli Roselle, but I've had to play so many parts and so many roles with business. And then you get people who claim to play these roles and work, but then their work ethic has to be as strong as mine.
Yeah, it's
So
so
it's
hard when
not,
you have a vision and then somebody else
yeah,
comes along and they don't not that they'll share that same vision, but that drive, others don't have the drive that you have with the vision that you have. It's just like until you
Right,
find the team like you found with Rose Gang, where you can be like you.
right,
The most beautiful thing is to be able to be like text someone and be like, "Hey, I need this done," and they say on it, and you know they're actually on it. That is amazing.
right. And they hold me accountable. Boy, I love my team, but they'll be like, "Hey, you slacking on this part," and I'm like, "All right, like I got it. Hold me accountable." You know what I mean? It's hard to find people like that. And we just had like a team meeting yesterday, and they were telling me, what a part of what made them want to work with me was my work ethic, and I inspired them to want to stick around because they're like, she's actually really a hard worker, and they see that, but they work 10 times as hard as me. So, and they challenge me because I've always been the person that always will work harder than anybody else. But right now, I don't know. They might have me beat a little bit, and I work hard. I
No,
do.
that's they always say put yourself in the room with people that inspire you a little bit more. So you just put yourself in a room with people that drive you to be a little bit more successful than before. And
Right.
that's
Right.
only thing about that is it's positive. Nothing negative there. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Oh, I can imagine this. Uh, Over the years, I tried developing a team early on, not with the breakthrough, but like prior parent company with the breakthrough that fell apart. And you could see that the gung ho, like, I just want to do everything and add these people to the team was not the right way to go about it. Just because somebody supports you and is retweeting you and just, helping out a little bit doesn't mean they have to be a part of your team. And doesn't mean
Right.
that they share like, yeah, they may want to put you in their bio, but they may not want to like stay up till 11 o'clock that night editing that video for you because it needs to go up. And I'm not saying this is somebody
Right.
I know specifically. I'm just doing, a situation. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
people out there totally that did exactly what I just said.
Yeah. I definitely listen. I get it. I understand. And that's normally how it goes. Like I'm the person that I'll put myself on the line. Like earlier, last year, I went to Atlanta for a couple of months by myself with nothing. And my manager at the time, she came with me, and then she came back home, and I stayed out there for a little bit. And before I came back, I just networked and got to know a lot of people because I knew that, whether I have a team or not, I still got to put myself out there and network and get more connections. And I also needed to just be inspired outside of Connecticut because I've been here so long. And I know that when I do pop, into the industry and be placed where I need to be, I'm gonna have to move. So I just said, let me just throw myself out there and meet people. And I've met a lot of different artists who moved out there, from Alabama,
Yep.
from New York. Everybody was in ATL. From LA. People left LA to come to Atlanta. And I met them, and just talking to them and becoming friends with them and performing out there. I was performing like every week. I was trying to find a show, and they started getting to know me. Like, that's the singer, that's Kaeli, she's from Connecticut. And I made it known that I was from Connecticut. I wasn't out there like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, yeah, I moved here for a little bit, but I'm from Connecticut, from Bridgeport,
Yeah.
Connecticut, born and
Yeah.
raised.
Remember
Yeah, like
that.
I had to rap hard, and they liked that. You know what I mean? They liked that I was real about where I came from, and I love my state. I love Connecticut so much, and I think a lot of artists fail to love where they're from, and they fail to get that support from where they live first, because they're the people that are going to be proud of you, and they're going to push you to higher heights when you decide to get up and move. They're going to be like, when she was here, she loved and appreciated us, and she shouted us out when she was here, or when he was over here, he did this. So I love them because they're my first fans. They're my first love. The first state that believes in you is your state.
Exactly. I really I understand why people shit on Connecticut when we're from Connecticut. We
Yeah.
all the hey, we all know, we know. But
We know.
Why don't we try to make it so we can love it again? Or I don't know again if they ever loved it, but why don't we try to make it where it's like, yo, screw ATL, let's go up to Connecticut. It's right in between New York and Boston, and it's got a bubbling scene. Like, come on, like if we got, it's a beautiful place up here. If we could just make everybody happy and want to be here and realize that there's a beautiful culture already bubbling, and it's so diverse, because if you think about all the artists that we have, there's no one sound in Connecticut with both
Right.
rappers, singers. It's just it's completely like a melting pot. It's just different sounds from where some people were inspired by Atlanta and brought that sound up. Some people were inspired by that Florida scene. Some people were inspired by Chicago, and you can see that. And others were not inspired by anybody and just did their own stuff. And it's so cool. Like the Connecticut is like where it's at. So my goal is like
Right.
really to just get everybody to realize, hey, CT really ain't that bad. Let's make it like let's make it someplace that you're proud of. Let's actually dive into the creation of the Rose EP. So, if you could describe Rose in one sentence, what would you say?
Hmm.
And take your
In
time.
in one sentence, Rose. Hmm. That's a good question.
Thank you.
um, I mean, I think in this EP, I was really getting in tune with my emotions and my sexuality as a woman. I kind of didn't hide anything that I felt,
Hmm.
whether it was anger, whether it was pain, whether I was very, I was very compassionate. There's so many words to describe Rose. I don't even know if I could just describe it in just one sentence, because like in each record, it shows a different part of me.
Okay, so how about this? We'll put a little caveat to this question. Let's go song by song. So I know you have the first like skit at the beginning. So let's talk about Rose.
So it's a prayer. It's my intro. I named it Rose. When I was a little girl, I used to pray a lot about my talent and about my singing and how much I wanted to be a singer. And, as a child, it's kind of hard to express certain feelings and things that go through your head and through your brain. I, I, I was an overthinker as a child, as a baby. But, thanks to my family and my upbringing, I always knew to communicate those feelings with God. And the little girl, her name is Sanaya Shan. She's very talented. She's actually an artist. She's our little superstar. She's our princess. She sings very well. I don't know if you watched my video last year for Christmas. We did a video called The Christmas Wish, where she kind of went up to a Christmas tree outside and she prayed and wanted to be a singer. And then I made her dreams come true. So I like walked up to her while she was praying, and she's like, "Where are we going?" So I walked her up to the Christmas tree where she made the wish, and when she made the wish and we snapped our fingers, we ended up in the studio.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's how I met her. And then yeah, we did that. We called it A Christmas Wish, and we put that out on Christmas Day. It was beautiful. So I had her play me as a child in the beginning of Rose, and the prayer turned into my voice now, and I still pray the same similar prayer. So that to me will never change, because God directs my life. He's the author of my life. So I think that's probably the most beautiful part of my EP. And I had to start it that way. I really love it because it
Yeah.
shows me coming into
Exactly. It's like you couldn't have asked for a better intro. And then you dive into the big hit, Away. And so
Right.
what would be the one sentence you describe for Away?
So when I wrote Away, I was, dealing with a individual where, you're in this situationship and you love this person, but you're realizing this person doesn't know, what they actually want in life yet, or with you, or, wanting to be in a relationship, and you fell for this person, but it's like, I know I should let you go, but I'm not ready to let you go. So I'm kind of like stuck in the situation. That person does love and care about me as well, but they don't have the answers. So that's when it was, but I don't want a chance giving you
Oh
away.
yeah.
But I begging you to make me stay. It's like, I'm not about to beg you to make me stay, but I don't want to let you go. Like that kind of feel. So
And
it was right.
everybody's felt
We
that.
dived right. Huh?
Oh, I said everybody's felt that exact feeling where it's like, it's best to leave, but you're gonna hang on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all done that, and that was the purpose of Rose. I wanted it to be very relatable. So when we let go of that record was produced by Smokey, HD, and Jeremiah. And that song, I mean, I literally just went in the studio and was just like feeling some type of way. Like dun, 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 dun. And then he just kept doing that. And then I was just like, I've been calling your phone, no answer. Like I just
Mm.
dived right in. Like this is how I'm feeling. And yeah. Yeah, it was a true story. So
That's what I love. I love to hear an artist really talk about what they're going through in life or what they went through because the genuineness is what really drives a fan to feel like it resonates with them.
right.
And you're so right that this project is so relatable to so many people. When you listen to each song, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've gone through that," and that is so key from an artist standpoint.
Right.
Okay, okay. Now we're gonna get down into Ahead. What's your one sentence describing this?
Ahead really just it's me basically being honest about my sexuality as a woman, not being scared to express, how women feel sexually, open and honest. And
Hmm.
there's a class to it though. Like it's not one of those raunchy kind of
Yeah, of
songs. It's
course.
like seductive and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
no, and I think it is really important for everybody to feel like uh, they can, express themselves like that. No matter who you are, you should be able to reach out. And when I heard this song, I was like, yes, I was like, this song's awesome. It's very empowering, and I always love hearing it. So uh, this was one of my favorites on the project.
everybody loves Ahead. And we had a tough time with that record because we were thinking, maybe we shouldn't put it on there. It wasn't gonna make the EP because, we had a tough time trying to finish it, or just me getting comfortable with like singing the lyrics the way they should be sung, actually putting myself in deep thought to finish the record. That's not easy being in the studio with a whole bunch of guys that you call your brothers, and you're like, you got to get sexy on them. It's like,
Yeah, and you got
you know
it.
what I
That's
mean?
a real state of vulnerability, especially around people that you would not necessarily be vulnerable around. But the fact that you
Right,
could turn that on and do that performance in the studio shows a true artist.
right. Thank you, thank you. It wasn't easy. It was tough. It was a lot of jokes. There was a lot of jokes going on, but it was fun. They made it
Oh,
fun.
I can
They make me
imagine.
very comfortable. So, you
Yeah,
know.
but you gotta crack a couple of jokes in there just to make the room a little bit, especially when you're making a song like that, and like you said, a bunch of guys in there that you call your brothers. You have to break the tension, and not even saying there would be tension in the room, but you just have to joke around.
Right. It was it was just really funny. It was funny for them. It was funny for me. But you know, we're hard workers, so we got the job done, and it was perfect.
Then you have the interlude, and I am a stickler for interludes. I love an interlude on every project. I always go to them, and especially when you're listening to it all the way through and you get to the interlude, it's almost like some guy comes up to you with a ticket and it's like, "Hey, how have you been enjoying your trip so far?" And it's like it
Right.
really is that, like, hey, by the way, you can go get popcorn, but like the show is still going on.
That's a good way to put it. That's a great way of explaining an interlude. That's funny, actually.
Was is in movie or in plays? Is that what is that the interlude, or is there a different word that I'm just forgetting? When like a play stops and everybody's like, all right, this is act one, then act two, and like you like everybody can go get popcorn, go to the bathroom. I'm trying to remember if that is called it. I'm gonna look that up.
I wrong person, and I don't even want to say the wrong thing. And actors and actresses start looking at me like, "What is she talking
Right?
about?"
Okay, so it
But I
says,
like how you put
I think I'm right. I don't know. I have to look into that more. To be determined. You were saying though?
right. Yeah, yeah. It's almost like the same thing. But I never heard anybody break down an interlude like that. But I like how you did that. I see where you went there. I like how you put that. It's Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans and Kelly Price, and they're real singers, and they have always had interludes on their albums. However, I didn't write the interlude. It was written by a writer. Her name is Mackenzie. She's extremely incredible. I was able to just tell her what I was going through or what I felt. And, the guys came through and they produced that record. And it was mainly because I said, I just want to interlude something that's not so serious, but something that could bring me into the next record. It's basically like, I'm finally ready to move on, after Away and after Ahead, where I'm exploring my, sexuality and being vulnerable and powerful as a woman. The interlude is like, you know what? No need to call. I'm moving on. Like I need
Hmm.
something new now. So she just came in and she wrote that, and I want to say within like 20 minutes. She's incredible. Her name is Mackenzie, and I'm happy to have her part of my team.
That's beautiful. Songwriting is honestly the most important thing when it comes to just like an artist or having on the team. Like people don't realize that like all these hit songs have like probably like 5 6 writers on them, because it's just a bunch of people saying like, does that sound good? And like even if 3 people say yes, there could be 4 people out there that would say no. So if you get all 7 of them, you know what I mean, then you could realize, oh, maybe we should do this and dive in this way
Right.
and all that.
Right. I for the most part, it's important that I write my own story.
Hmm.
So I do have a team of writers who can like help me think when I have like writer's block, um, or something like that, where I just cannot think or I can't put my emotions or my tears into words. They'll help me. But I'm always like the first writer, and I'm always the one that is experiencing whatever emotion. And then I just let them know this is what I'm going through.
Hmm.
And collectively we come together and we'll create. that was my first time actually having someone actually write something by herself. And she did an incredible job.
That's so interesting. And a
Yeah.
very cool take to have it on the interlude too, because of the fact that it's so subtle that it's almost okay that you had someone else. Not saying it wouldn't be okay anyway, but like it's like it fits having her write it in for the interlude right there. We're gonna go down to what might be my personal favorite, "Love 'Em All."
Yeah,
So
the next single. That's everybody.
yeah, it's so good, so good.
Thank you. That song was actually written by myself and one of my good friends. His name is Kevin Leatherwood, also known as Randy. He's from Hartford A60.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just chilling. He was, one of my biggest supporters, going through quarantine and going through ups and downs of being an artist and just being emotional through a lot. He was there through a lot. And he was just in the studio and he was just there. And I'm like, you think you could come up with some lyrics? And he was like, yeah. And I mean, we wrote a hit.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. That was a quarantine hit.
Right. Yo,
Yeah.
and my girl loves talking about astrology and everything. So when I heard all that, I was like, ha, I can understand this stuff.
Yeah. And it's just, me talking about signs that I've dated and dealt with and talked to. And, we put it into a song and love them all. So that's, the interlude is basically like, I'm tired of this now. You know what I mean? Like I'm about to go out and date. So love them all kind of explains my dating experience per se. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With all the different stuff. Guys, but still in love them all, I'm still stuck on that one person. But they're not supposed to fall in love, the guys I'm dating, right? They're supposed to just be having fun. So that's basically what, love them all is about.
Awesome. And then you go to the one song that has the one and only feature on the project. So swear to God with Ty Henny.
Yes, Ty. Shout out to Ty Henny. I love him so much.
Fire. So fire.
He's incredible. He came through on the record very last minute. Very last minute. I mean, I called him, I want to say like 11 o'clock at night, and he just hit me back at like 11:30, like, hey, what's good?
Mm.
He got it done. He sent it over, mixed and mastered the song. It's basically, after I'm out exploring the world, dealing with different guys, I kind of get back with that guy and we have that conversation. The main conversation, like, I swear to God, I'm a savage. Like, I'm talking my shit to him. You know what I mean? But then he had a comeback, like, hold on, you played a part in this too. You know what I mean? So I always think it's very important that me as a female, if I'm representing my ladies, I need a strong male figure to represent the guys because there's always two sides to a story. You know what I mean? And I want
100%.
all of my fans and all of my Rose Gang supporters to be able to listen to my project and feel like both sides are being taken. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just all about the ladies. It's about my kings, too. You know what I mean? I had to hold it down for them. And Ty Henny definitely came on the track and did what needed to be done and then
No
some.
better
So,
person to
swear
put
to God.
on the track. It was just like literally the perfect feature. So now that we're back,
Right.
let's talk about the
We're good
outro.
now. So it was an idea to make like a reprise of Away. And basically where I'm just getting in tune with my feelings. And after Swear to God, after we had me and the guy had the initial conversation, now I'm just, let me call him and leave him a message now. It was more so of me just being in my feelings and me just singing and just letting him know, like, I don't want a chance giving you away. Like, I really want to make this work. However we can make this work, let's just make it work. And but I'm still letting him know, like, I've been calling you and you're not picking up the phone, and this is what women feel. We feel this all the time, and we're left to cry our tears alone, and the guy is out living his best life is what it looks like to us, and we're still stuck on them, and whether we're together or not, it's just the feelings and the emotions of a woman, and I needed that to be heard. I'm Rose, and I wasn't afraid to share that. So I wanted to just share my story, share my feelings, and share my voice so that other women that are going through it, that aren't able to speak up, can kind of feel that and, gain their confidence back. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to let someone know that you love them, even if they're not reciprocating that love back. You know what I mean?
100%. Completely feel that. Well, awesome. That goes through the whole
Yeah.
project. So now I'm gonna dive into a couple questions that just are make you think topics. So the first one is, if you could collab with any artist, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Oh, God. If Biggie was still here, definitely Biggie.
And why?
Biggie He was a realist. He said what was on his mind. He spoke facts. He spoke what he felt, and it was just real. You know what I mean? He was 100% himself. He was very authentic, and I feel like I have those same qualities as an artist. We just say what we feel. We make it tasteful though, and make it classy. And for him being so young at the time, he was 24 years old. 22 and 23 when he was making hits. So definitely Biggie. Um, I would definitely Mary Mary J. Blige. She just emotion, and I love that. And I feel like a lot of me being an artist, yeah, I feel like I could connect with her. She's a realist as well, and a lot of my qualities as an artist comes from her. She screams emotion in every record. No matter what she's saying, you're gonna feel what she's saying. I love that, and I always admire that about Mary J. Blige. She's a great. I love her. I respect her. I would love to work with her. Um, Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of people that I would love to collaborate with. I think I would do a great record with Big Sean. Big Sean would make me think.
Ooh, I could see that really working.
He would make me think on a record. We would do something big. He's an incredible talent. He's very smart too.
Yeah, I just like listening to what he has to say outside of rap.
Right.
The
Yeah.
guy is
He's
very
pretty
spiritual, you could say.
right. He's very in tune with himself and with his
Exactly.
spirituality, and that's important as an artist and as a person, as an individual.
It's
So yeah.
the most important thing to be able to do. And that's like the biggest thing with mental health, is that people aren't in tune with their mental. They aren't in tune with themselves.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. So this one will really make you think. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say and why?
I would definitely make sure that they follow their dreams.
Mm,
That was me because in life we go through so much. There's so much to think about. We lose a lot, we gain a lot, we rebirth ourselves all the time. Every year we're going through something, every month, every second, every hour, every day. So you have to find that one thing that makes you feel whole, that makes you feel alive and well, and that serves your purpose. So once you find that thing, you got to take it and you got to run with it. There should be nothing else on your brain.
I love that. Yeah, that's very true. You have to live, breathe, absorb everything related to that if you really wanted to achieve. That's
Yeah.
manifestation 101.
Yes, and another thing, speak life. Speak what you want. A lot of people speak, and I hate to say it, but they speak death, on their dreams and on themselves by what they say. You got to be careful with your tongue, the things that come out of your mouth. Your thoughts become
Speaking in
words.
negatives, so many
Yeah.
people do that.
If you want to live to be 104, you got to talk about it every day. I always say, and it's weird, my mother always is like, "What?" I'm like, I'm going to go at 94. And she's always like, "What? Why would you say that? What if you live to be older?" And I'm like, I kind of don't know if I want to. But I mean, I just always felt like 94 was just my time. I don't know why. I just always felt like that. And I always speak it, and I always speak every day. Like, everybody's like, live every day like it's your last. And I'm like, no, because it's not. I'm going to live every single day out, and I'm going to speak life unto myself every day. And I'm going to
Exactly.
health unto myself every day until I accomplish the things that I want. I'm going to speak life into my husband. I'm going to speak life into my children, my family, my mother. You know what I mean? One thing that God gave us was free will. And he gave us the option to live or die. And when you think about it like that, it's all in your words and how you think and how you speak and the things that you do. And I just refuse to be that person to say life is short. Life is long. Life is exactly what you make it. So
Period.
that was period, right?
Yeah. You couldn't have said it better. That's so important, and everybody needs to hear that.
Right.
Well, thank you for such a good response. So, okay, this is the last of the make you think questions. Is what's some advice that you'd give it to an up and coming artist starting today? So, if I was an up and coming artist starting today, what would you tell me?
Um, Definitely move to the beat of your own drum. Always. And I say that because when you're coming into yourself as an artist and you're learning who you want to be true to you. You don't want to be like somebody else. You can listen to other people and get inspired by them, get inspired by their ways, get inspired by their story, take their advice and pray about it, but always move to the beat of your own drum. If somebody tells you that you should rap and you're a singer, no, I want to be a singer, but maybe I could, incorporate rap into what I do, but I want to be a singer. Make what you want for yourself known and stand on that. Don't allow any other artist or any other person, not even your fans, to tell you what you should do, because they're going to follow suit. Once you know who you are and who you want to be for yourself, you got to dance to the beat of your own drum. Always move at your own pace. Be inspired, yes, but know who you are and know what you want, because that's, everybody else is going to follow that. They need something to follow. Think about it, if everybody can come up to you and tell you who you should be and you're that person, then who are you?
Yeah. If you think about it like that.
You have to. You have to.
Love that.
So yeah,
That's
thank
some
you.
great
That's what I was.
advice. So now somebody's gonna find a gem 40 minutes into this interview. Hopefully they listened all the way along. So my next question is, what's your mindset going into 2021?
To live.
Hmm.
Literally. I've lost a lot of people in 2020. I've lost a lot of people who I thought were friends, who I've called family. Um, I've lost people to sickness, to COVID-19. I just want to live and fully live out my dreams and just genuinely just be happy and continuously speak life and speak the things that I want and to live out the things that are already promised to me. That's how I'm going into 2021. Focus, knowing what I want, and I'm going after everything. I'm living through everything.
I love it. And then where do you see
That's what
yourself? Oh,
2020.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It kind of brought people down and it brought their mindset down. But because I've been through anxiety, and I've had panic disorder. I was actually diagnosed with that. So how people are panicking now, I've been panicking for years. So now this year just taught me to just continuously live and speak positive things and speak what I want, because everything that I want, I'm manifesting. And to know that I have that power, I'm just going to soar right through to 2021 with that. So
I,
yeah,
I love
that.
that. Yeah, everybody doesn't realize that if you really think about it, every religion, whether you're praying, whether you're manifesting, whether you're doing whatever, you're saying these affirmations like where you trick your brain into believing that you either already have it or that you want something and that you're going to achieve it. And that's really, it's all the same thing. It's just making you realizing that this thing right here or this thing, whatever we're going to say it is, the mind or the brain, that something's going on up there.
Right. Right.
Okay, boom. So you said 2021. So what about 5 years or 10 years?
I definitely want to be, married with children. Definitely within the next 5 years, and still continuing on with my career. Um, I really want to raise little mini me's. I want a queen. I want a king. I want to speak into them life, that they can do and be whoever they want to be. That
Mm,
is so important. And me and my mom are very close, and she's one of my biggest supporters. Like, I'm out shopping today from my apartment, and then she like sends me this text about Usher, singer Usher, his mom. She read an article that when his mom read this book before he went into the industry, and that helped her manage her son, and just things like that. At my age, and my mom is still texting me because she knows how much I love what I do and how much of a fan base that I have and how much support I have. To have a mother, to have a parent know what what your dreams mean to you, it means so much. So I definitely can't wait to be that mom, to be like, listen, what you want to do? Because we're going to hit the ground running.
yeah, that's so great.
That's 5 years, yeah.
And what about 10 years? Do you even see that far down the road? Or do you just leave it up to just,
Oh, absolutely. In the next 10 years, I will have an empire. Like, I want to have a record label. I want to speak to people about their dreams, and you know, I want to continue to use my voice for bigger and better things,
mm-hmm,
because I feel like that's something that God has built in me to do, and I want to continue on that journey.
I love it. That's great. So are there any more shout outs before we end today's interview that you'd like to give?
Shout out to my Rose Gang. Shout out to everybody who was a part of the project. My writers. Um, Shout out to my Rose Gang supporters and everybody who loves Kaeli Roselle. And if you've ever supported me, or if you've ever prayed for me, if you're rooting for me, if you've listened to the project, I love you. I thank you. Shout out to CT Breakthrough for finally having me.
Of course.
I think it's incredible for Connecticut, for what you're doing for artists that you've seen grow, for new artists. It means a lot, and it gives us a platform to actually speak our truth,
Thank you.
and it helps us to keep going. So
See,
thank you.
of course,
You.
and that goes back to that cyclical empowerment where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, you empower, you make me feel like so hyped when I used to be afraid to DM people, and now it's second. I don't even think about the fact that it's anxiety inducing to send a DM, but like when somebody then reposts us on the story, and it's like, oh yeah, they love the show too, so it's like I'm not doing this for nothing. And that's beautiful.
Before I forget, we just added yes. Her name is DJ Cookie. I finally have a DJ. She's a female. She is
Hey,
fire. Detroit like Big Sean. She is incredible. So you got to make sure you follow her at Real DJ Cookie on Instagram. She's incredible. Shout her out. Shout out my family.
That is, I love giving, like, I love giving this end because there's all these people that I don't know about, and I want them all to be, you know, given a chance to just be out there. And like you just put her out there, and it's so important because it's like there's a network and there's so many people out there, and hopefully somebody watching right now is gonna go and they're gonna see that and then go follow her and then DM her and be like, I love your content, da, da, da. And then it's somehow a connection is built, a relationship is built, and that's what this is for.
Right, very important. Very talented people.
Well, that's awesome. That really wraps it up.